Alright, so I just got done changing out the rear passenger side shocks and springs. The hardest part of this job was unbolting the rear trailing arm, the trailing arm to chassis front mounting bolts, and the trailing arm to chassis pivot bolt. Those were really difficult because I had to, one of the other things I had to do was remove the stabilizer bar link attaching nuts, and those are a hex head on the bolt, and I stripped the hex head, so I had to kind of file down some pieces of metal in order to grip it with my pliers and remove the nut. And I ended up not being able to do that, so I just tightened the nut back up, made sure it's all nice and snug, and then back to normal. And then I just went ahead and disconnected all the I disconnected the rear trailing arm, the trailing arm to chassis front mounting bolts, the trailing arm to chassis pivot bolt, and I pretty much that thing that the wheel attaches to and the lug nut screw on, that whole thing kind of came down a little bit, and that loosened up the spring. Then I was able to get the spring out. But getting those things back on, the rear trailing arm, the trailing arm to chassis front mounting bolts, the trailing arm to chassis pivot bolt, getting those arms back on was really difficult because just everything is heavy, and I had to use my jack to lift it while I screw it in, and it's just like, you know, I mean, you can't, you know, when you're working on cars, you can't rely on your physical strength. You have to rely on the strength of your tools. That's the only way to get the job done, is you have to, because I mean, you know, a jack can lift 2,000 pounds. You know, I can lift like 50 pounds. That's it, 50. You know, and my jack can lift 2,000. So, you know, a lot of this stuff is heavy. You know, I mean, I can't lift 50 pounds and screw in a bolt at the same time. So, but oh my God, it was a fucking nightmare, man. A nightmare. I had to unscrew the brake line. I had to pull out the ABS sensor. There's another fucking sensor that I don't even know what it is, but you know, I was able to get it mostly back in, and I got to go back to that a couple days from now and tighten everything up, tighten all the bolts and stuff with my pipe on the end of my wrench, so I can get some more torque. You know, I got to tighten up everything, you know, because it started raining today, so you know, I had to call it quits. Plus, I was behind Raymore and Flanagan in the back parking lot, and the manager came out with his boy and told me I had to leave, so can't go back there now. But I gotta find another spot because I still have to do the rear driver's side shocks and spring and coil springs, and I also have to do the front driver and passenger freaking struts. That's gonna be a whole nother ball. It's gonna take a whole nother week, man. Took me a week, yo, just to figure out how to do the rear passenger side. You know, I had to buy a file for like 10 bucks so I could get that trailing arm chassis. No, I had to get that end bar sway link thing that I stripped out with the hex nut or whatever. I had to buy a file to file down this washer that was attached to the bolt in order to grip it with my pliers so I could tighten the freaking nut back on, and it's a nightmare. It's fucking like 3:30 right now. Started working on the car at like 11. It's like 4 hours. And then yesterday I was working on the car like another 5 hours, and I didn't even get anything done. I was just figuring out how to take everything apart, you know. I'd get to one point, you know, after an hour, and then I'd figure out, oh, I need another part, or I need another tool. So then I have to put everything back together, drive to the Home Depot, get the tool, come back, take it all apart again, and then I'd find out another 2 hours later I need another tool. So then I put everything back together, you know, after an hour, go to the Home Depot, get the tool, come back. And then I was able to do it, you know. But I mean, just like 90%, you know, freaking half of the work I did was just taking it apart, putting it back together, taking it apart, putting it back together. It's fucking ridiculous. If only I could do this in the parking lot of Home Depot. But it's like, you know, working on cars, like, in the parking lot is frowned on. You know, like, when they see me pull out my big box of tools, it's like they think I'm setting up shop in the parking lot, you know? Damn.